And you have been one of the leaders in fighting what's been going on in the streets of New York, but not just New York per se, other universities and so forth with this this rampant anti-Semitism, right? And you've joined with others to do that, Democrats and Republicans.
No question. We introduced in the aftermath of the terrorist attack on Israel on October 7th and the rampant anti-Semitism we saw on universities across America, the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which simply codifies President Trump's 2019 executive order requiring the Department of Education to adopt the IRA working definition of anti-Semitism and all of its contemporary examples for the purpose of Title VI violations of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And basically what we're trying to do is better define what anti-Semitism is and force the Department of Education to hold these universities and the administrators accountable for what we have seen break out on these campuses. I mean, you look at Columbia University and what President Shafiq allowed to happen in April and May. It was absolutely disgraceful. And I've now visited Columbia 3 times, including just last week we did a roundtable with students, and they still feel unsafe, and they still feel that the administration, the new administration at Columbia, has not taken these threats seriously. And so it's incumbent on us as Congress, in which we send federal dollars to universities like Columbia, to hold them accountable and enforce the law. And if they're unwilling to do that, then to take action to strip them of those federal dollars.
You mentioned Richie Torres. This is an interesting gentleman. I've never spoken to him. I've never met him. I think he's a little fearful of me, Congressman, but that's okay. He represents a district in the Bronx. His district sides up against AOC's district, among others. He is a fairly reliable liberal, and yet he's pro-Israel, and he goes at it with the with the Talibs of the world and Omars and so forth and so on. What can you tell us about him and that?
Look, there's a handful of Democrats that I've worked closely with on these issues, specifically pertaining to Israel and combating anti-Semitism, and it's Richie Torres, Josh Gottheimer, and Jared Moskowitz. And the 3 of them have been staunch allies of Israel and strong defenders of Israel and combating anti-Semitism. And all of them come from different districts. Jared's from Florida, Josh is from northern New Jersey, Bergen County, and Richie, from the Bronx. And obviously, I think when...
But, Mike, let me just interrupt you here. But Torres is different because his constituency would not necessarily support his position. Maybe it would, but he comes from a place where over the decades you wouldn't expect this kind of support for the state of Israel, and yet he's out there. He's very brave about it. He's very honorable about it. Are you aware of any personal experience he had, or a belief system, or his faith, or what?
I think it's a core belief system, and as I've gotten to know him pretty well during my time in Congress and the work we've been able to do, starting with passing the special envoy for the Abraham Accords legislation, I think it's a core belief. And he, he's visited Israel. He does have a pocket of Jewish constituents in Riverdale in the Bronx. And so certainly has strong relationships.
Very
there.
Small.
But I think it's a core belief, and he believes in the importance of the U.S.-Israel relationship and our Judeo-Christian values, and I think that certainly has shown through. And in comparison to his neighboring district with AOC, who just last week was attacking Israel for having the temerity to take on terrorism. And go after Hezbollah, whose stated mission is to eradicate the state of Israel.